Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, and welcome to DRS's Extreme Championship. This evening we're heading to the glitz and the glam of Las Vegas. It debuted this season in the F1 calendar. I'm not overly sure who won it, most likely Max Verstappen, or if it's even been raced yet, I'm not 100% sure. I myself had many difficulties on Monday night, not knowing the track and using drivers such as Mr. Pickle and Miller Vanilla and Easy Life as a bit of a bumper car. But I hope the rest of you don't suffer with that same notion. Whilst we're waiting for the rest of the grid to form up, we should have a full grid this evening. I'll quickly run you through the Drivers' Championship. Just going to try and sort out some microphone issues. Please bear with me. And they're now sorted. So I will quickly run through, starting with the Pro Championship. Mansis leading the way for the AlphaTauri team on 185 points. Bunny's Vengeance in second place for the Aston Martin team, 136. Wavy with 132 for the Red Bull team. TSL MK5 for the Alpine with 91 points. It's a real good show from him. UJGC down in fifth with 71. Scornful Griffin, last season's champion in both the Monday night and the Thursday night, is down in sixth place at the moment. He won't be overly impressed with that one, the McLaren driver. Then we have Dangerous Dave in seventh for the Ferrari. ADHD Jaden is just a reserve, but he is in eighth place with 30 points. BRT Jacob with 27 for the Mercedes, although I do think he may have been replaced recently, but still ninth in the championship. Jens 038 for the Williams team with 18 points. And then we've got Syke Snipes on 14, Ben Lane on 10, and Brad Mason for the Alfa Romeo team in 13th with 6 points. We'll quickly run through the Pro-Am Championship as well. DRS Syme leading the way with 149. Closely, well, not that closely followed by actually DRS Swanton with 107. Niebenholen in third place with 83. If memory serves me correctly, at the start of the season, he was leading for about 4 or 5 races. Joker, my teammate for the Alfa Romeos, in fourth place with 76 points. Nixer for the Mercedes with 75. It's a close battle between those two. DRS Smug Git with 60 points. Slam Master J, I don't think he races anymore. Miller Vanilla, one of the reserves with 37 points. The Sloth, another reserve with 36. Ronnie, another reserve, 35. Fatlep, again, another reserve with 25. TMK for the AlphaTauri team on 23. And I do believe that Smug has told all of us to ready up, so we should be underway fairly soon. The Drivers' Championship, Mantis leads the way with 177, Bunny's on 131, Wavy on 127, TSL MK5 in fourth with 88, UJGC with 57, DRS Syme having a good season with 53, Scorn with 40, Niebenholen with 35, Dangerous Dave with 32, ADHD Jaden with 30, and of course he's just a reserve, so he's incredibly quick. Red Bull's at the moment leading the way on the constructors' side of things as well. But I think that will be on this lead here with 463. Aston Martin close behind them with 433. Ferrari then on 403. AlphaTauri 354. Alpine 352. The McLaren team with 339. Mercedes with 331. Alfa Romeo with 320, Haas with 316, and then Williams down in last place with 282, but I think they've been lacking one of their drivers on a Monday night, which I do believe is Boris Johnson. And he has been missing. Just having a look, so I think it was just Ninja we were waiting for. His game keeps crashing, but hopefully he has now made it onto the grid. And of course, you may all be wondering why I am doing the commentary tonight. I'm King Kong 1471. Blobby Butler unable to be here this evening. He's not feeling too good, so we all wish him well, and hopefully see him again next week. As I said, if you're tuning in, Blobby, we wish you well. A night spectacle here in Vegas once again. Let's get all the bits and pieces sorted. But we do have just the 19 drivers then. We are missing one, which I think is TSL MK, which is a shame because he's doing really, really well in the championship. I think he'll be pretty gutted to miss out this evening. I think he missed out on Monday as well. At one stage, I must admit, on the Monday nights especially, I thought he was going to win the championship, but it does look as if it's heading back to scornful Griffin's way once again for the second season running. And we do have a Williams out on track then. This is Jens 038. This is the first time I've actually witnessed Jens 038 drive, so it'd be interesting to see how he gets on here in the streets of Vegas. Certainly what I found from Monday night is an incredibly fast circuit. At the same time, it's very difficult to brake, which I found out numerous times, including hitting my teammate off the start on Monday night. Jensen just warming up his soft compounder tyre. Not overly sure on the track temperatures here this evening, but I hope for the driver's sake they don't get rain for the actual main race. It doesn't look as if it's going to rain during qualifying. Of course, if you know any different, then by all means, please do let me know. And of course, as well, if you want to tune into Bunnies as well, he is also streaming this evening, but it will just be his race cam. But I'm sure it'll be pretty interesting anyhow to see how the driver who's second in the championship gets on this evening. And looks as if iNix is quite close behind him. He just needs to hang back a little bit. The Mercedes driver. I don't think either of them are on their neither of them are on their flying lap, but it looks as if they're getting a little bit too close to comfort there, the pair of them. I'm not overly sure what's happening here. I will stick with it. It almost looks as if they're battling for position. They are both just about to start their flying lap as well. I will, though, go up to Jens in the Williams to see how he gets on through Sector 1. Now, I'll be completely honest with all the viewers this evening. I'm not overly sure on the... off the top of my head, I can't quite remember who's Pro-Am and who's Pro. Because there is such a good array of drivers out here this evening. There'll be a few I can certainly pick up on, but for the vast majority it will be quite difficult. We'll move on then to DRS Syme, who's just started his flying lap. He's in Sector 1 currently in the Ferrari. Not overly sure on the yellow parts on the new Ferraris, but especially on the front pod. We've got a couple of drivers out on mediums, including your championship leader Mansis. We have yellow flags out in Sector 3. I don't think it's for anything major. I think it's just someone moving out the way. Let's go then back to Jens, who is coming in now into Sector 3. Let's see what sort of flying lap he can do here. I'm sure he'll be considerably faster than what I was on Monday night, that's for sure. Yeah, 132.424. I don't think that'll claim pole position, but it's not too bad. Let's go then down to DRS time. Bunny's Vengeance flying across there with the 132 dead. Nixer with a 133.758. We'll stick with the DRS sign for the time being. Let's see what he can do here in the Ferrari. He, of course, is leading the Pro-Am Championship at the moment. Yellow flags out in Sector 1. It's a 132.456. He'll be pretty happy with that. That puts him up into provisional third. Brad Mason goes fourth fastest with the 132.963. Let's then go down to UJGC in the Haas. He is one of the pro drivers out on track this evening. He'll be looking to put himself at least in the top 5, I think, for the Haas team. He really does hug that final chicane very, very well, but he has invalidated his lap, so we will go down to Dangerous Dave then in the sister Ferrari, and he is 8th, I believe, in the Pro Championship, but he has invalidated as well. We'll move off him. Let's go down to Scornful Griffin, last season's double champion. And of course, he also won the Constructors as well on a Monday night. He really did rack up the trophies last season. Martis going second fastest there, an incredible lap time with the 132 dead, but on a set of mediums. That'll certainly be the car to beat then. Scornful Griffin with the 132.579. He struggled on Monday night as well, Scorn. I wonder if it would be much the same this evening with even better competition around him. Let's now go to Ben Lane in the Mercedes. Yeah, crosses line 133 dead. Can certainly improve on that as qualifying goes on. Let's then go down to... let's go down to the league owner then, Smug in the Aston Martin. Again, he didn't have the best of races on Monday night. I think he may have actually been taken out by his teammate, but I'm not overly sure. Actually, no, I don't think it was his teammate. I think it was one of the McLarens. But I can't quite remember off the top of my head. But it wasn't the best race from Smug on Monday night. He'll be looking to most certainly improve on what he did Monday night. We will actually stick with Smug in the Aston Martin, as he's certainly closest to finishing the lap. I don't think it's going to be an overly quick one here from Smug. It's a 134 dead. Only puts him in P13. He'll be kicking himself with that one. And Ninja seemingly looking like he's struggling a little bit there in the Haas. But a driver that's certainly making rapid improvements. Now races in the Pro-Am on Monday nights and the Pro-Am on Thursday nights. So it's certainly improving with every single race. We're still yet to see DRS Swanton and TMK come out of the pits. And we will now go down to Joker, who's in Sector 1. Getting very, very close to that turn there. Very, very close to the barrier, but managed to keep it nice and clean, and still looking pretty good. So Bunny's Vengeance is still leading the way as things stand, but Martz is still yet to set a lap time on a set of softs, so expect to see about half a second fall off of his lap time if it's anything like the lap he produced on the mediums. The yellow flag's out in Sector 2. Again, I'm sure it's nothing, but Joker with a little bit of traffic ahead of him. The Alpine does get out of the way. Purple Sector 2 then for Joker. Yeah, successfully navigates that difficult S-bend. Really, really good. Let's hope he can put in a great lap here to 132.4. That's a fabulous lap time from the Alfa Romeo driver. And puts himself up into provisional P4. Fantastic for one half of the Alfa Romeo team there. You may be able to hear my cat in the background. Just gonna let her out in the garden. As I said, we're still waiting for a couple of drivers to leave the pit lane and produce a flying lap. One of them is TMK from the AlphaTauri team, and the other one is DRS Swanton in the Red Bull. We'll stick with UJGC for the time being. So we might... No, Bunny's only just started. Swanton is now on his outlap. Let's go then back to UJGC, who's had a much better Sector 1. Let's see what his Sector 2's like. You see on that part of the track, I pretty much hit the wall most laps. Just couldn't seem to stop on the straight line. And let's see if he can purple Sector 2 as well, which he does. So it's certainly going to be an improvement here from UJGC. Of course, he did invalidate his last lap time. Yellow flag's just ahead of him. There is a car right in front of him. Does need to get out of the way at some stage. That should be okay for now. And it's a 132 dead by UJGC, who goes up into provisional P3. We've got just over 7 minutes of qualifying left to go here. And now let's go further down the grid. Let's go down to Swanton, who's just started his flying lap for the Red Bull team. He had a pretty good race on Monday night. I think he finished P3 out on track. But I don't know if a removal of a penalty meant that he jumped up to second. But he definitely secured a podium, that I know. Now through the S-bend. And now on to another fast part of the track. It's not the quickest part. Again, it is fast. Probably got to be one of the most dangerous circuits on the calendar, really, with how fast you have to go. I don't think that was a very smooth. I think Sector 2 is going to be overly good here for Swanton. He went in a little bit too heavy there into that final turn. And Mantis with a 131.730. A fabulous lap time by your championship leader. In a bit of a league of his own here after switching on to those softs. Just over 3 tenths quicker than his previous best. He'll be pleased with that. Be surprised if anyone else manages to break into the 131s this evening. Maybe Bunnies or UJ might just be about to put it off. Swanton going to dive into the pits then. He's invalidated. But luckily enough for him, he's just got over 5.5 minutes left before the end of qualifying. Niebenholen! Well, what was I just saying a minute ago? I didn't think anyone else would break into the 131s. Niebenholen has just done that. That is a fantastic lap by the, I believe he is a Pro-Am driver as well. But really showing himself to be a full-on pro here. A absolutely fabulous lap time with a 131.965. So now just the second driver to break into the 131s. Perhaps I was wrong. Perhaps there will be more. I can still see Bunnies potentially breaking into the 131s and challenging Mansis for that pole position. Let's go then down to Brad. Oh, and Ninja has retired. He's put himself into the wall there. And Brad Mason, unfortunately for him, has invalidated. I don't think it had anything to do, though, with Ninja. And I tell you what, Wavy then will receive a 5-place grid penalty. It's a collision with BRT Jacob. And I believe the McLaren is... he's still in, Jacob. Unless it was... I'm sure I saw a McLaren lose his front wheel, but perhaps I didn't. But Jacob now diving into the pits. That won't do Wavy any good whatsoever. He will be deducted 5 places from the grid. Not ideal at all for one half of the Red Bull team. They, of course, are leading the Constructors' Championship currently. But that really won't help them at all. Go then down to Dangerous Dave. who's in Sector 1 and is quite a bit faster than his previous best. He's just about under 3/10 quicker. At the moment, he should be able to quite comfortably, if he can improve Sector 2 and 3, he should be able to move into at least the top 10 for the time being. Middle of the Linner saying, it's a horrible track. And Ninja saying, oi oi Ninja for last place. Last the first challenge. Yeah, I think that's a big arse, Ninja, but I wish you all the best anyway. We'll stick him then on board with Dangerous Dave. He's just about to cross the line with a 132.5, and as I said, just about manages to get himself into the top 10, just behind his teammate and the Pro-Am Championship leader, DRS Syme. So the Ferraris at the moment with 2 cars in the top 10. If you have a look at the moment, so we've got an AlphaTauri in first, then a Williams in second, Aston Martin third, a Haas fourth, a Red Bull fifth, McLaren sixth, and Alfa Romeo seventh. It's very good to see all sorts of different teams up there, especially compared to the real life version of Formula 1, where it is literally just Red Bull, Ferrari, first, second, third, fourth, Mercedes, fifth, sixth. You don't get that here in DRS. You get a real good mix of caliber of drivers and of course in their teams as well. And performance is all equal related as well, for those of you who've never seen DRS in action. We're just running on board then with DRS Swanton. He's one of the, in fact most of the drivers, in fact all of the drivers are now out on track. But most of them only on their outlap. In fact, Swanton is also on his outlap. I'm guessing he's trying to use a little bit more fuel, as is the rest of the grid from the looks of things. Dangerous Dave, I'm pretty sure, will be coming into the pits. Yes, he is. The 10th will be the best he'll be able to secure today for one half of the Ferrari team. His teammate DRS Syme, though, is still able to improve on his current provisional P9. Nixa then starting his flying lap. He's in Sector 1 currently. He'll be hoping to improve on what is currently provisional P14. We'll stick with the Mercedes driver for the time being. We'll have a look at some of the front drivers. Swanton then does put a lap in. It's a 133.846. He won't be overly impressed with that, though. It only puts him in P17. Especially as he had such a good race on Monday night. He'll be absolutely kicking himself with that lap time. But then that could well be because he hadn't used any ERS. Now, if that is the case, that's not a bad lap time. And I think that was the case. I'm going to go up to Bunny's Vengeance then, who will be putting in a challenge for Mansis for that P1. He's got to knock off just about 4/10 off his current best, which is 132.041. With Mansis with a 131.730, but Mansis is also out on track. With the track temperature potentially going up with all the cars out on track, we should see even more of an improvement from those drivers. And Niebenholen is looking really, really good as well at the moment. He was about 9/10 down there from all accounts. But we will go back to Bunnies, who is just over 2/10 quicker. He's going to have to find a little bit more if he is going to take provisional P1 off of Mansis. This is the end of qualifying now, so we will have a bit of a train of cars now. And Bunny's Vengeance goes provisional P1 with a 131.486. That is a fabulous, fabulous lap time. Mansis is also quicker through Sector 3 currently. We'll stick with him for the time being. TMK has retired from the session. Also want to see what Nieben does as well. We'll stick with Mansis for the time being though. And it is a 131.498, not good enough to take pole position. And I think it's going to be the same for Niebenholland as well, because he is 2/10 slower than his previous best. We will come away from him. Scorn comes in. Ben Lane up into P7. It's Simons also finishes up to P8. Let's see what Joker can do now here. I think he's just invalidated. Yes, he has, unfortunately. And that is pretty much the end. In fact, it is. It is the end of qualifying. And, well, we've got two, actually, probably three now, standout performances there. And that is Bunny's Vengeance, who takes pole position only just with a 131.486. Closely followed by your championship leader, Mansis, with a 131.498. Then BRT Jacob, completely out of nowhere, with a 131.8. Who does take third place for the McLaren team. And thanks for joining us this evening, Hughesy. Good evening, my friend. I hope you're doing all right. We'll quickly run through the final grid order after qualifying. So Bunny's Vengeance taking first place with a 131.486. Mansis in second with a 131.498. And BRT Jacob with a 131.806. Niebenholland with a 131.958, but is pole position in terms of the Pro-Am drivers. UJGC in 5th with a 132. Wavy is in 6th, but will be dropped to 11th with a 5-place group penalty. Scorn taking 7th. Ben Lane 8th. Syme 9th. And Joker rounding out the top 10 after what was an absolutely fabulous qualifying this evening by the DRS Extreme Championship drivers. And you can tell why they're all in this extreme category. They're all incredibly quick. Of course, don't forget, nobody ready up. And we'll soon get underway. Just going to have a short water break. I'll be back with you just before the race begins. And I'm not sure if that was a little bit too quick on the start there, but never mind. We're on the formation lap. Hopefully everyone was able to sort out fuel loads, etc, etc. But I don't think anyone gave the word go. I'm not overly sure who started either. But I'm sure somebody will be able to find that out. But of course, part of the rules are if you do start up early, you will receive a penalty come the end of the race. So please do be wary of that if you're a new driver or an existing driver. Just be wary of the consequences at the end of the race. So let's just quickly run through everyone's tyre choices. So a surprising tyre choice then by Bunny's Vengeance. He starts on the hards, Mansis on the mediums. He'll be hoping to get an early jump on Bunny's. BRT Jacob also on the hards. And then from Niebenholland all the way down to Joker, all on mediums. Jens starting on the hards, Wavy on the mediums. Dangerous Dave and Swanton, surprisingly both starting on the softs there. They're obviously going for a two-stopper. Brad Mason on the hards, and Ronnie Smudgett, Nixer, Ninja MC and TMK all starting on the medium compound of tyre. Now, if I was going to give my prediction for the race winner this evening, I do think it most likely will be... I think it's most likely going to be Mansis. I think only because he'll start on those mediums. He then should be able to put on an... Actually, no, he used mediums in qualifying, so he won't have another set of mediums. Yeah, I mean, I think... Personally, I think the perfect tyre choice for this one is to run 2 sets of mediums and then a set of softs. But he won't have that option, so I'm going to go for... I'm going to go for Bunny's Vengeance. I know it's easy to say because he's on pole position. But that's who I'm going to go for this evening. I'm going to go for Bunny's Vengeance to win this evening's race. Dangerous Dave disqualified. Hopefully that won't affect him on the grid, as was Ninja MC. We're just about to get underway here in Las Vegas, and we are racing. We are go here in Las Vegas. The the Alpha Tauri of Mantis already up into first place. It's a great start from him. We've got yellow flags out already in Sector 1. Scornful Griffin's obviously been touched there. He's dropped all the way to the back of the grid. And yeah, it is him and Joker who've had I think it's Joker as well, who's had a collision. That'll be the second evening running for Joker. After he was run into the back by me on Monday night. Let's hope it's nothing too major for the two drivers. Let's hope they don't have to go in and change wings. Let's then drop down to Syme, who's battling hard here in P11. He's got an Aston Martin a Mercedes of iNixer just ahead of him, both running on the medium compound of tyre. And Mixer seemingly pulling away there, but almost had a bit of a collision with the wall. Swanton goes round Syme there, but he is on a set of softs. So he should be quicker here. Not using any battery life either in the meantime. Doing a great job. It's a good start from him, and I think it's a good start for Niebenholland as well. But then BRT Jacob does get the position back. Of course, Jacob is running on the slower, hard compounder tyre. It's going to take him a couple of laps to warm up. Swanton then going around iNixer in the meantime. Let's then go all the way down the grid to Ninja, who's battling away hard with Smugit just in front of him. And he has got a Alfa Romeo of Joker behind him. Joker did go into the back of him there. Bunny's Vengeance setting the fastest lap of the race. I'm not quite sure how, because he's in second place, but never mind. Oh, Joker! Oh, goodness me. And Joker is out of the Grand Prix. He has retired. And I think we are going to see a safety car here. Yeah, I think it is a full safety car. It might just be a virtual. I can't see the yellow mini marker out on track. I think it might just be a virtual, you know, which would be surprising considering the impact that Joker had there with the wall. Yeah, it is. It's just a virtual safety car. It's surprising, but I suppose it was off track. Yeah, Miller Vanilla just saying, might be too early to go onto the hard compounder tyre. I think you might be right then, my friend. I think you might be right. I like to hope it's only the people who need front wings that will pit now, but having said that, it is just a virtual, so I can't imagine anyone will actually be coming in. Still the virtual safety car though. And we're back underway. We are green. A bit laggy there from UJ. I'm going to go back up to Niebenholland. And UJ then looking to go down the outside of Niebenholland for the Williams. But of course no DRS at the moment. It has now been enabled after 3 laps of racing. We should see a little bit more overtaking now, I feel. And Ronnie right behind Jens now. Ronnie in the Alpine, Jens in the Williams. Let's go to Smug-Git, who's battling hard here with Brad Mason. DRS active, ERS active, and he's around the Alfa Romeo and puts himself up into P13. Of course, Brad Mason is now the only Alfa Romeo left running this evening, and Ronnie picking up a 3-second time penalty. It was pretty difficult to cut corners on this track. I don't think many people really picked up a penalty on Monday night for corner cutting, so it's a little bit surprising. UJGC, another one just as I say that, and the Haas of UJGC is off the track, and I think he's had a bit of a run in here with Niebenholland, and Swanton will make the most of that and moves himself up into P8. It's been an impressive start to the Grand Prix by Swanton, and he has moved up a good 5 places, but I tell you what, it's been an even better start by both Ronnie and Wavy, who have jumped up 8 places and 7 places respectively. It's close at the battle for the top as well, with Marcis now right behind Bunny's Vengeance, as well as BRT Jacob. I don't think it's working into Marcis's hands at the moment. He really did need to keep the place ahead of Bunny's Vengeance, being on the faster compound of tyre. He will now, though, look to make the move. Will there be a potential double overtake with BRT Jacob right behind Marcis as well, with the DRS active, going down that really long straight where you can hit speeds of up to sort of 220 mile an hour. You know, Bunny's is really at risk there of dropping potentially even 2 places. We'll stick with this battle for P1 for the time being. There are 3 drivers certainly in contention to win this Grand Prix. Bunny's at the moment, who I thought would win it, is leading the way. He's on a set of hards. A little bit glitchy there. There's a bit of a lobby issue. And let's see now if Marcis will potentially make the move on Bunny's. It's down the inside. He's incredibly quick. Marcis puts himself up into P1, and I tell you what, will Jacob also look to make the move on Bunny's here? I think he's just a little bit too far back on the Aston Martin. But Marcis retakes the lead of this Grand Prix. He's going to have to start building a bit of a gap now between him and Bunny's, being that he is on the faster compound of tyre. Bunny's now does have to defend against BRT Jacob, who is also on the hard compound tyre as well. Let's go a little bit further down the grid. Ben Lane now battling really hard here with Jens for 5th place. Ben Lane is on the faster compound of tyre, so Jens is defending very, very well indeed in that Williams. At the time being, I'd say you can tell the difference levels in grip from Ben Lane and Jens there. The way Ben Lane just went round that corner. We will now go. He's got a DRS available to him. Oh, and Jens slipping a little bit there in the Williams. Dangerous Dave and Smug-Git battling hard. We'll just go down to that battle. Looks like they've got Swanton in front of them. Swanton, I'm guessing perhaps those softs are now starting to go off. Smug-Git into the back of Swanton. And that has really ruined both of their races, really. And TMK has retired from the session. It is a full safety car. With 5 laps in, we've lost 2 cars. Not ideal for Swanton there, but at least now he can get in and stick on a set of mediums. Scornful Griffin, drive-through penalty, speeding under the safety car. That really does not help him at all. He's all the way down in 14th currently, following an incident with Joker on the first turn, actually, the first corner. We do have a safety car, a full safety car for the first time tonight. I think we had about 4 on Monday night. I expect to see at least a couple more. Which may have come into Swanton's thinkings, as well as Dangerous Dave when they put on the softs at the beginning. And yes, Marcis now diving into the pits, as is BRT Jacob. I wonder if Jacob now going for the 2-stopper and potentially going to run 2 sets of mediums. Yeah, he does put on a set of mediums. Martz is putting on a set of hards. I'm guessing he's going to go for the two-stopper as well, and then right at the end put on a set of softs, which does make sense. It's a free pit stop really, isn't it? So Martz is only dropping a couple of positions there, losing one place to Jens, and Bunny's retaking the lead of this Grand Prix. Let's have a look then at the penalty situation. So Ronnie with 3 seconds for corner cutting. It's the same for UJGC. And of course then Scorn with a drive through. Everyone has made one stop bar the top two drivers, that is Bunny's Vengeance and Jens. They're both running on their original hard compound tyre, which is 6 laps old now. Not overly sure what happened to TMK, but it must have been quite a collision to cause a safety car, and puts him out of another Grand Prix. It's a real shame, you know, he is a quick driver, just needs to finish these Grand Prix and start getting some points for his AlphaTauri team. He's lucky in the respect that he's got Mansis as his teammate, who more often than not finishes in the top 2 each Thursday. So he's certainly lucky in that respect. Safety car still out on track. We got another lap at least, but I think the back of the grid Ninja has now caught up. I'm still not going to change my mind. I still think Bunnies will go on and win this Grand Prix. But I still don't think the one stop was the way to go. I think the likes of Martsis, who I think now will go for the two stop. I can't see him managing to get those hards to the very end. Swanton, I think, will go for a two. Well, I think he'll definitely have to go for a two stopper here. I should imagine he'll run a set of mediums and then perhaps put another set of softs on. Maybe on lap 17, something along those lines, 17, 18. And I'm pretty sure we'll have at least one more safety car. It's a difficult circuit, this one. I made the comment on Monday night that you know, I don't think the drivers were being overly aggressive. I think it was just more of a case of people not knowing the track overly well and not particularly knowing the braking zones. And I think we've seen a couple of examples of that once again this evening. It's a new track. Some people, I'm sure, even in today's grid, have never raced this track before. And as we all know, practice does make perfect. But we can't all practice every day of the week. It certainly looks like some of these drivers do, with the raw pace that they have this evening. I think it was noted in the stream chat that Bunny's and Martsis' times were a second quicker than the fastest lap on Monday night, which just shows that the difference in quality from a Monday to a Thursday, which is why we don't let you race on Monday, Bunnies and Martsis. You're just too quick. I'm hoping the safety car will be back in this lap. It is. The safety car is back in this lap, so we should get racing underway fairly soon. As Bunnies now will start to back up the rest of the grid, with Jens right behind him. And Bunnies is now pulled away, is he? No, he's still backing up a little bit. But I actually think, no, the safety car's not even in just yet. I thought the safety car was in this lap. I think it is. I think I'm getting the wrong part of the track for it, maybe. No, I'm not. It definitely said safety car in this lap, but that's not the case. I don't know if anyone else saw that on the stream. Certainly looked as if, to me, that it said safety car in this lap, and it's definitely still out there, so hopefully it's not a glitch on the game here. Let's hope it comes in this lap. I'm pretty sure Bunny's was wisely starting to back up the pack to make sure he didn't get too close behind the safety car on the restart. And then, of course, the safety car didn't actually come in. Yeah, Minavalina saying, looks like the yellows have gone too. Yeah, it does, doesn't it? I wonder if we're going to have a bit of an issue here. I wonder if there's now, perhaps Codemasters and EA have made another glitch on the game. Safety car lights have stopped flashing, so must be coming in. Let's hope so. I have just seen some yellows on the track. 17 laps under safety car. Oh god, that would be absolutely horrendous. Although I think for me on Monday night that would have actually been a better scenario. I wouldn't have used you as a bumper car, Miller. So let's hope now the safety car is in this lap. I can't see it anymore, but I can see the yellow dot out on track. Let's hope it's now finally pulling into the pits. I think it is. Yeah, pretty sure it is. Pretty sure we should be back underway and racing. Yeah, safety car is back in. We are back underway and racing, and it's a fabulous start by Bunny's Vengeance. It's nearly pulled 8 tenths clear on Mansis there. It's a very, very good start indeed. BRT Jacob, Ninja and Scorn having a... BRT Ninja and... BRT Jacob and Ninja having a battle there for P15. I think Jacob just let him go back through there. Perhaps it was an illegal overtake. And now Ninja having a bit of a battle with Jacob. Jacob now going to go around the outside of Ninja. It was always going to be difficult for Ninja to keep him behind for an extended period. Mansis now very, very close behind Bunny's Vengeance. But with Bunny's experience, I'm pretty sure that he will be able to keep him behind until the DRS comes into play. I just wonder now with that safety car and the tyre change there, maybe it's actually playing more into Mansis' hands. And he's looking, oh look how quick he is down that straight. That is fantastic. Mansis up into P1, ladies and gentlemen. A fabulous, fabulous overtake on Bunny's Vengeance. Bunny's keeping very, very close behind him as well here. Wasn't able to retake the position. Even without DRS, he just looks so fast. Brad Mason now all over the back of Ronnie in the Alpine. Let's see if the only remaining Alfa Romeo can move himself up into P5. He's on the faster compound of tyre, the mediums. We've got just over 15 laps to go here. Will he look to dive down the inside? And it's a very, very clean and good overtake by Brad Mason. Moves himself up into P5. Go down to UJGC, and already Mansis I can see at the front of the grid. Already starting to make a pretty substantial gap on Bunny's behind him. UJ now right behind the Williams of Niebenholland, who was absolutely fabulous during qualifying. He's had a bit of hard luck during the course of this race. And he's now actually, I think he'd be P4 in the Pro-Am side of things. Dangerous Dave just in the meantime going round Ronnie to take P6. They're both on 4-lap old hards. Ronnie though of course does have a penalty to his name. DRS sign right behind Ronnie then. And UJGC right behind Neben. It is very, very close in this mid-pack battle, and as you can see at the front already, Mansis is now over 2 seconds clear of Bunny's. It is like watching Max Verstappen doing the real Grand Prix, and UJGC now looking faster than the Williams. The Haas moves himself up into P9. Or does he? Will Nieben be able to reclaim the position? He has got the inside line. UJ and Nieben giving each other enough room there, and UJ successfully takes P9. He's now got to deal with DRS, Syme and Ronnie in front of him. Let's actually go to Jens, battling hard here with Ben Lane. Jens is on 10-lap old hards as and it's a bit twitchy there from the Williams driver. Let's go further down the grid. Let's go to DRS Smudgit, who is now overtaking Ronnie for P10. Can he make it stick? He's got the DRS as well as the inside line. And Ronnie is out of the Grand Prix. Are we going to see a full safety car? I think it is. Yeah, full safety car for Ronnie. Well, does that change things in terms of tactics? I'm pretty sure now we'll see the likes of Bunnies and Jens pit. Of course, they will come out into a heap load of traffic. If you're the medium runners, you really wanted it to run on for just a little bit longer. Unless now they go in and put on their second set of mediums, if they didn't use them in qualifying, and run them for around 12 laps of racing with 2 laps under safety car. That may be their best and only option. Bunnies now should be able to do a one-stopper here. If he can keep the tyre wear to a minimum. It may well have been what he was potentially trying to do with the hards. Right, so we have got a number of drivers in the pits, including Jens, Bunnies, Ben Lane, UJ, DRS Syme, Niebenholen, Nixa, Jacob, and Wavy. So the likes of Martis staying out on track, as is Brad, as is Dangerous Dave. Smudgit stays out on track. DRS Swanton stays out on track. Bunnies then will return in P6. So he has lost 4 positions there, but he's on a nice fresh set of mediums, which he should be able to get to the end of this Grand Prix, I would imagine. Nixa is also out of this Grand Prix. Something must have happened to him under the safety car. Ninja coming out on a fresh set of hards. He's going to have to run them 13 laps, which he'll certainly be able to do that. It should probably be only about 11 laps worth of racing, I would say as well. So we have lost 4 drivers this evening. Joker, TMK, Ronnie, and now Nixa. We've got 15 cars still running this evening. The top 3 currently are Martis, Brad Mason and Dangerous Dave. But of course, they haven't pitted. It does change things up a little bit. Martis was certainly starting to pull a bit of a lead over Bunnies. He'll be disappointed at the timing of the safety car, especially. Bunnies, I think, will be really, really pleased with the timing of the safety car. And just been confirmed by Nixa, his controller went dodgy. That is why I'm guessing he must have ended up in the wall there, which is a shame. Just turned into the pit wall and then the wall. I'm guessing it was supposed to be just turned into the pit and then into the wall. That is a shame for Nixa. And a shame for the Mercedes team in general. They still have Ben Lane, though, running this evening. There's certainly a few drivers in false positions currently. Because I do feel as if Swanton, Brad Mason and Scorn will definitely have to pit again. I should imagine they're banking on what would be a 3rd safety car this evening to potentially get them out of trouble. So what do those mediums do? They'll probably do about 12 laps, 12-13 laps. And it's already reasonably old. They're certainly going to have to stop again. To be fair, I do feel as if Smug, Dangerous Dave and Mansis will probably have to stop again. They'll end up losing too much time, especially if we get another safety car as well. And, the whole grid, the whole pack is now formed up, so we've just got just working their way through Sector 1, soon into Sector 2, and hopefully we'll be able to get back underway in racing on lap 14, and hopefully we'll get 11 laps worth of racing. That's some good overtaking. Of course we won't have DRS for the next 3 laps, but as certain drivers have already shown, if you've got the right setup, you don't need it down these straights, especially when Martins overtook Bunnies. It was a real shock to see how much quicker he was down that straight, especially without the DRS available to him, and he didn't seem to use an overly large amount of ERS either. Just heading on into Sector 3. Safety car is in this lap. It has just been confirmed by race control. The cars start to warm up their tyres. It's vitally important at the restart. Ninja, they're nearly having a bit of a collision there with Jacob. I don't think that would have gone down too well. There's Mansis and Brad Mason swapping positions there. Seemingly a bit of roughhousing going on there. And a severe collision then between Jens and Ben Lane. Jens picking up a 5-second penalty in the process. I'm not be sure what seems to be going on here. Dangerous Dave and Brad Mason have just swapped positions. Not quite sure what is actually happening here. Very bizarre. But, never mind, we will get back underway in the proper racing soon. The 2 leaders then both on hard tyres. We don't have Brad Mason behind them to give them some trouble, but they are used mediums. It's the same with Swanton as well. I should imagine by about lap 12-13 they will start to go off. Minna Valina just confirming my thoughts there. Loads of overtaking under the safety car again, so drivers having to give positions back. I'm not quite sure why they were doing that. Of course, if you're racing this evening, anything goes wrong out on track, please make sure you clip it for the stewards to review. Hopefully they'll come to a good conclusion. So again, we have another scenario. I'm sure it said safety car in this lap, and it didn't seem to come in again, so we seem to have done another lap. Very, very strange. Mansis backing up the grid here, and wisely so, getting as far away from that safety car as possible so he can put his foot down and get a clear run at the very, very, very long straight, which he does. We're back underway. Brad Mason and Dangerous Dave battling for P2 here. Will he get past him going into turn 1? No, Dangerous Dave just about manages to defend the line and the position. And it gets a really good exit as well. Let's go a little bit further down the grid as Wavy is starting to get a little bit closer. Let's go further back up the grid to Bunnies, who's right behind Swanton here. Can he make the move? Nope, no DRS available to him just yet. Oh, and there is contact there between Smudgit and Swanton. I'm guessing Smudgit may have just overrun that straight once more. But luckily he didn't seem to cause any damage to Swanton there, which was good. Swanton does retain P4 for the time being, but he does have Bunnies all over the back of him, and Bunny's certainly got a better exit from there, and he's down the inside of Swanton and moves himself up into P4. He is on a much fresher set of medium tyres. He's now right behind Brad Mason, who again is on some quite old set of mediums. I think he will struggle as well, as Swanton now coming under pressure from Ben Lane, who again is on some a much fresher set of medium compound tyres, moves himself up into P5. In the meantime, Jacob moves himself round Niebenholen and Wavy, and Wavy then also gets himself round Niebenholen. Loses 2 positions down that straight, as Smugit definitely has front wing damage, so will need to pit on this lap. Let's then go back up to DRS, Swanton and Ben Lane, who are battling hard here for P5. Bunny's Vengeance in the meantime moves himself up into P3. BRT Jacob takes the fastest lap of the race with a 134.726. There are battles going on all over the place here. It's proving difficult to keep up with, as UJ and Smugit both pit. Let's then go back up to Bunny's Vengeance, who's battling hard here with Dangerous Dave. He is on a much quicker set of tyres. He's going to have to make these moves early on here if he's going to really put in a challenge to Mansis, who at the moment does have a 1.9 second lead over Dangerous Dave behind him. Niebenholen in the meantime is battling hard with Scornful, and Scornful up into P10. We'll stick with this battle for the time being. Niebenholen and Scornful keep swapping positions. I'm going to have to go down to that one, I think. In fact, let's go back up to Bunnies. And Bunnies does overtake Dangerous Dave and moves himself up into P2, but he is 2.3 seconds down on the race leader at the moment, Martis. Let's go then to BRT Jacob, who is battling hard here with DRS Syme. Will he be able to get him down the straight? I don't think he will. Syme defends well. I think Jacob there did seem to clip the wall a little bit. Syme not getting the best exit there, and Jacob should be able to make this count, especially on those set of softs. He's got a lot more speed down the straight. He might even get a double overtake here on Syme and Swanton. He's got the inside line on Swanton here. He should be able to get the double overtake into turn 1. And he does. It's a fantastic move. A fantastic double move from the McLaren, and Swanton now under pressure from DRS Syme just behind him. And Brad Mason diving into the pits for a fresh set of mediums. He should now be able to get them to the very end here. So Syme and Swanton, it is the battle of the Pro-Ams. They are first and second at the moment. Swanton really does need a big points advantage over Syme to really keep this championship alive. And tell you what, Syme, he will have the DRS available to him on this lap. Swanton just about managing to defend at the moment. Syme really close behind him. Does try and dive down the inside. Does pick up a 3-second time penalty there for trying to avoid contact there with Swanton. And in the meantime, Wavy then does make the move on Swanton. He's on much fresher set of mediums. And then Syme also makes the move on Swanton there. And again, another driver on a much fresher set of tyres. The safety car really has caused Swanton some issues there. Didn't seem to come out at the perfect time for him. We will go down to Jens, who is battling with UJ here. DRS will become available to the Williams man. And it's a beautiful move down the outside to take P13. Fabulous move from the Williams man. Let's then go to Ben Lane. Ben Lane. We are now on Ben Lane. We were on Wavy there for just a second. Thank you very much for joining us this evening. And Scornful Griffin is out of this Grand Prix. We have a virtual safety car. Thankfully, it's not a full safety car. As I was just saying, thank you very much for joining us this evening. The Sloth. This is becoming very interesting with Bunny and Mansis, particularly with Bunny's fresher tyres. Yeah, we've got just over 7 laps left to go, but we do have a virtual safety car out at the moment. Whether or not they'll bring Bunnies a little bit closer into play. I don't think Jacob's softs will last to bring him in contention for a Grand Prix win. It is going to be between Bunnies and Mansis, that's for sure. I can't see anyone else really coming into play. I think Swanton's probably going to have to pit on those mediums. He's going to have to do another 7 laps on them. That'll be 19 laps on mediums around this track. I think he needs to really go in and pit and chuck a fresh set of softs on if he can. And maybe even now, under the virtual safety car, he would have been hoping and praying for a full safety car just then, but it's not to be. Hopefully the virtual safety car will be back in soon. Well, will be off soon. Miller Vanilla saying Ninja for the driver of the day. There's a drive-through penalty as well for Syme. So he's already got a 5-second penalty as well. And we are go again. We're back underway. Bunny's Vengeance just 1.2 seconds behind Martis. He's going to have to start reining in that gap quite quickly. As Ninja goes around Syme, but it's mainly due to the fact that Syme's got a drive-through penalty. Swanton diving into the pits. I'm guessing he also got a drive-through penalty because he didn't change his tyres there. So yeah, not ideal at all for both Syme and Swanton there. I'm guessing it may have even been a game glitch, who knows. We'll find out at the end of the Grand Prix. As Brad Mason does go around Swanton. Swanton, I think, maybe a little bit at the back of Brad Mason there, but didn't actually cause any issues. As Smug Git goes round UJGC. Let's go then back to the battle for first, as Bunnies is now within DRS range of Mansis ahead of him, and he does now have DRS open, and he's looking incredibly fast here. Bunnies to retake first place. Brad Mason is out of this Grand Prix as well. It's a full safety car. I'm guessing Bunnies just about got round. Wow. Wow, that was really touch and go for Bunnies there. I think he just about made it round. Now the question is, under this safety car, I think he would have almost... Yeah, is he going to pit? Yes, he is. As is Mansis. I think pretty much everyone will pit. I think it's got to be softs now for the last 5 laps. And it is going to be a bit of a case here of who is going to have the quicker pit stop. We'll see who comes out in first place here. Bunnies is now back out. Mansis is still in. Oh, it's very, very close between the pair of them. Almost an unsafe release territory there for Mansis. But Bunnies just about gets out ahead of him. We're probably going to see racing resume on lap 22, I would think. So it's going to be a very, very interesting battle right up until the end. As Swanton now diving into the pits as well. He's going to chuck on a set of softs. I think pretty much everyone is going to be on softs, apart from Dangerous Dave. I'm guessing had no softs left. That might really, really cost him some positions at the end of this race. You've got to remember, Syme does have a 5-second time penalty, although having seen it, I think there's certainly potential for it to be reviewed by the stewards and potentially removed, as long as he gave the position back afterwards. It's certainly something the stewards can look into. I think racing will probably restart on lap 22, I would think. And with nearly everyone on the set of softs, we're going to see some incredibly fast lap times here, and hopefully a lot of good overtaking as well. And as sorry, I was just reading this one out earlier, and I don't think I finished it. Miller Vanilla saying Ninja for driver of the day. To be fair to him, he's up in 8th place at the moment and doing a fantastic job. In fact, just looking at the rest of the grid, as things stand, I believe, I could well be wrong here, but I believe he is P1 in Pro-Am currently. Of course, he will have a tough task of keeping Syme, Smug and Swanton behind him. But I believe the rest of the Pro-Ams are actually out of this Grand Prix now. Oh, actually, no, sorry, Nieben. Apologies, Nieben. That's because Nieben is so blooming fast. Especially following that qualifying where he qualified in P3. Nieben is P1 in the Pro-Am. Apologies there, Nieben. You know what? I think this guy here could now potentially go on and win this. But I do think between these three, so from Jacob, Mantis and Bunny's Vengeance, I think the three of them will be swapping positions quite a bit. I think they'll finish in the top three. I think that'll be the podium. But it's who finishes where scenario. For the last 4 laps of this Grand Prix, I'm really hoping the safety car will be back in this lap. We're just going through Sector 1 right now. The softs will be nice and warm and nicely bedded in by the end of the safety car. And we have just lost Smug Git from the session. We have lost Brad Mason as well, but I'm presuming that's because he DNF'd. Hopefully the lobby hasn't crashed. I will, in the meantime, apologies for that. I was just trying to make sure that we could get Smug Git back into the lobby. So I've just sent him an invite. Guessing there might have been an issue there. For Brad Mason, love it when my wheel disconnects mid-corner. Yeah, I've had that scenario as well, but yeah, mine was mainly down to my dog pulling out the cable. But yeah, that's unfortunate. Brad, you were having a good race, so sorry to hear that. So the safety car is back in this lap. And we are now back underway and racing. Bunny's Vengeance leading into turn 1 with Mantis and BRT Jacob right behind him. We'll try and keep as best eye on the battles as possible. Smug Git ghosting at the moment. Guess he's having some connection issues there. Back very, very close together, but not quite close enough for anyone to potentially make a move. Especially with no DRS available. I don't think we'll see that until about lap 24. Smug Git and Swanton swapping positions there. I think Smug is now back in the race, which is good to see. And with just 3 laps left to go, Mantis is just under 0.3 of a second behind. I think he's going to be storing a lot of that battery life to potentially try and make a move down the long straight. It's all going to be depending on who gets the better exit. I tell you what, I think Bunnies may have just about got the better exit there. But Mantis now starting to rein him in here. Looking really, really fast down the outside. It is wheel on wheel action here between the top 2 in the Drivers' Championship and the top 2 in this race. As Bunnies and Mantis go wheel to wheel into the S-bend. Bunnies just about manages to retain P1. That was absolutely fabulous. And in the meantime, BRT Jacob and Wavy are right behind Mantis here as well. We could have a 4-way battle for P1 in the remaining 3 laps. It is so close. As well, we've got Ninja as well battling away with Smug Git, who's making some real inroads. Moving himself up into P7, he's doing a fabulous job there. Let's then go back to the battle for P1 then. We'll try and keep up to date with all battles out on track, but this is so close at the moment between the top 5. Now including Ben Lane, who moves himself up into P3. It's fabulous from Ben Lane. Mantis' car is ghosted, as is Bunny's. I'm not quite sure what's happening here. What on earth is going on? Ben Lane's car just seems to be steamrolling through everyone. It seems to be completely flying. I'm very confused at what's happening here, because he's pulling like two seconds a lap clear of Bunnies and Marks. I don't get that. You know, I think I'm going to concentrate on this because I don't think that's right. Martis then making the move on Bunnies. I mean, effectively in P2 on the game, but unless Ben Lane is just absolutely flying. But the weird thing was he just sort of ghosted through everyone. So I'm not overly sure what's happening here. It's the same with Smug Git, who just seems to be blasting his way through the field. Mind you, he has used a lot of DRS, so maybe that's the reason behind it. Bunny's Vengeance then now down in P3 as Mansis is up in the P2. I mean, I think it's effectively P1 because I'm not quite sure what's happening. I mean, nobody would pull sort of 4 seconds clear of Mansis and Bunnies, and Smug Git and Bunnies battling hard here for P3. Yeah, Miller just saying, I think Smug and Ben Lane have desynced. Yeah, I think you could be right there, because, yeah, they're just ghosting through them. So, yeah, I think we will look at the battle for P1 from Mansis down to Bunnies. It can't be right. It can't be right. It just seems very, very odd what's going on there. I mean, nobody in their right mind pulls 6 seconds clear of Mansis and Bunnies. That's for sure. No matter how fast you are, I don't think that's possible. So I will say, well, I'll stick with Mansis then, who is, in my view, effectively leading this Las Vegas Grand Prix into the final laps of this race, with Bunnies just over a second behind, or just under a second behind him. Sorry, 0.935. And Niebenholen, in the meantime, getting himself up round DRS Simon, but DRS Simon then going back on the attack again. And he make the move on Niebenholen in the battle for P1 in the Pro-Am sector. In fact, apologies, Ninja is P1 in the Pro-Am sector. What a fantastic job he's doing this evening. Going into the final lap now, Ninja could be about to win Pro-Am in the Extreme Championship version. Absolutely fantastic. Miller Valina saying 110 AI racing for them potentially. To be honest, I think 110 AI would even be, you know, even to pull the distance they have over Mansis and Bunnies, I think would be, for me, I think it would be more like 150 AI, especially with the way these two have raced. But we'll go for the fact that I do believe Mansis is leading this Grand Prix. Ladies and gentlemen, for those of you watching at home, we do think there is a bit of a glitch with both Smug Git and Ben Lane, which unfortunately will mean they potentially score no points to their team this evening. Of course, it looks so good for Aston Martin on the grid line up there, but I don't think Smug Git will be picking up any of those points. Dangerous Dave then picking up a 3-second time penalty. That will really, really cost him, especially as he's battling so hard here with Wavy. Mansis putting in the fastest lap of the race. And Ben Lane and Smug Git, they've been removed. So Mansis then is your Grand Prix winner today. Apologies for that sort of late run there. It was just very difficult to keep up with the Smug Git and Ben Lane scenario. But Mansis is your winner of the Las Vegas Grand Prix. It was a fantastic performance from him. Bunny's Vengeance finishing in second place. Another good drive from him this evening. He takes P2. And of course, BRT Jacob rounds out the top 3 with another impressive performance from him. Well, that's it then, ladies and gentlemen. That is your top three this evening. Marcis, Bunny's Vengeance, and BRT Jacob. All three of them did an absolutely fabulous job for their respective teams this evening. We'll quickly run through the top 10 then. So Marcis takes P1, Bunny's Vengeance P2, BRT Jacob takes a great P3, Wavy takes P4. That's a brilliant drive from him, especially after he started 11th on the grid, and probably in my eyes one of the drivers of the day. Ben Lane supposedly taking 5th. Not quite sure how it's going to be viewed. Niebenholen 6th, Jens 7th, Dangerous Dave 8th, Ninja MC, a fabulous drive from him, takes P2 in the Pro-Am sector, and P9 in the overall Grand Prix. Niebenholen as well, I should say, this takes P1 in the Pro-Am sector. DRS Syme is the final finisher on the podium in the Pro-Am sector. He takes P3 in that, and P10 overall. And then it's P11 for Smugit and P12 for DRS Swanton. So I think we certainly did have a few lobby glitches, a few lobby errors there with safety cars, and obviously the disconnection of, I believe, Ben Lane and Smugit towards the end. But other than that, it was an absolutely fabulous Grand Prix. Some real good drives all round. I think, me personally, my driver of the day has to go to Ninja MC. I think he did absolutely fabulous to take P2 in the Pro-Am, especially in the Extreme Championship. So well done to him. The other driver of the day would certainly have to be Wavy as well in the Red Bull after taking P4 after starting in P11. But thank you very much for joining me this evening. I've been King Kong 1471, and this has been DRS Extreme Championship. And please be sure to join Blobby Butler on Monday night for the DRS Championship Round 11. Thank you and good night.